stuck in my head right now.
Hi, Ali.
Hello! Okay, it's so good to see you. Hello, hello,
Dude,
hello.
it's been a while since New
I
York.
know. I
Uh,
love your setup. I can already see a piano in the background. It's very on
I,
brand for you.
I'm in a recording session at the moment in the studio. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, thank you for taking the time to chat with
Oh,
us. I know you're super busy. You're back there, you're recording, you're getting ready for like the next huge musical moment that you're going to serve us. So, listen, I appreciate it. Okay,
thank you.
it has been so long. I saw you like this time last year, or I guess it was more like August, September, but it's been so long since we caught up. Last time we talked, your debut EP, Small Victories, was about to drop. I was super pumped. Obviously, so much has changed since then. I mean, we just have to jump into it because you obviously competed in season 18 of American Idol. Huge congratulations. It was so much fun to see you do your thing every single week, and you were so incredible. It was so fun, like I said, to watch you up there. And I think more importantly than just like watching you perform, it was so cool to see you kind of create a platform for this really important conversation around suicide prevention awareness, and really create a community and a safe space for people who might be struggling on social media, which I think you've done such an amazing job of that. So thank you so much for all of that, Louis. For everyone who doesn't know, guys, if you don't know, Louis, can you talk a little bit about your song Change, which you obviously auditioned on American Idol with, why lyrically it's so important to you, and why you actually chose that to use as your audition song?
Absolutely, and thank you very much for having me in all of that. And so basically, I chose to audition for American Idol with my original song called Change, which I wrote about going through the loss of one of my brother and I's best friends to suicide. And I wrote it. I mean, I tried to sit down and write about it for a long time, and I couldn't. And then one day it just all kind of happened. And I wrote it as a tribute to our friend Russell that passed away, and also as a message of hope, hopefully, for everyone else out there in the world suffering, because there are way too many people suffering.
Yeah, no, like I said, I think it's so important. And oftentimes a conversation we don't have enough. And I think there's such a power in music and a connectivity. So to be able to put that into a song, that is so beautiful. I've seen you perform it live. You performed it for me in person last year, and it was so moving then. It was so moving on TV as well. But I've been watching American Idol for a while. I watched that when I was little, when I was a kid. I remember very clearly that oftentimes performing an original can be super risky. The judges sometimes love it, they sometimes hate it. Were you at all nervous going in to that audition, knowing that this wasn't a song that they were familiar with or had ever heard before?
Honestly, that was when I found out that I would be able to perform one of my original songs, that was like the point where I was like, I have to do this. I have to take this opportunity. I would never be able to live with myself if I had the opportunity to go out and perform one of my original songs on American Idol, and if I didn't do that. I mean, I was definitely extremely nervous. I mean, I kind of blacked out for most of the audition. I forgot everything. But I think I'd spent so long trying to craft my musicianship and my songwriting ability, and I spent so long trying to. I mean, as you said, I just released by that point. I just released my EP, so I was so just set on just trying to be a singer songwriter that I kind of just didn't look back, I guess.
No, and I'm so glad that you did, because I think that change not only expresses such an important message, like I've mentioned a couple times now, but I think it does such a good job of kind of expressing who you are, not only as an artist and a singer and a songwriter, but also as a person. And I think that that's, something that is so important, because, I mean, not to put words in your mouth, but I know that you've said to me before that, and you mentioned a second ago too, that, you did have trouble processing friends until
Absolutely.
really you were able to express that through words. Is that kind of the power in songwriting? Like, does it hold that important value to you, where it has the ability to not only heal artists and writers, but also connect people from all over the world together?
Yeah, I mean, that's, you couldn't have put it better just then. I mean, music is the healing power that can connect everyone in this world. And I'm so fortunate to be able to have this outlet, to sit down at the piano and just start writing my, like singing my feelings
Yeah.
out, and to be able to create a song from it is just like, I'm just so fortunate to be able to have that. I mean, it's such a therapeutic thing for me. Songwriting tends to, I mean, sometimes I'm trying to write about stuff and nothing comes. It's like kind of what typically is what mostly happens. And then there's one day after so long of kind of banging your head against the piano, so like with nothing, like coming up with nothing. And then all of a sudden you have this breakthrough, and it's like such a true moment of self-reflection, which I find to be when I've written my best stuff. So yeah, I mean, I'm just so fortunate to be able to do that.
And I think that, like I said, you are such a songwriter at heart. That's something that I know really drives you and is such a passion of yours. And I'm so happy that you did audition with an original on American Idol, because I think that was something that really resonated with the judges. Not only did you get a huge compliment of your songwriting from Lionel Richie, which, like, iconic, but Luke Bryan also said, and I quote, "I think you might be the biggest star we've ever had on American Idol," which
We'll
is
see.
insane. I remember seeing the teaser for that and being like, oh my god, like they're so right. Did you expect to get that kind of reaction out of the judges? What was kind of going through your head as they were saying these things to you and you were standing there in that oval, which is already so scary?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, at first I was like, I just didn't, like, it just didn't feel, the only way to put it is just, it didn't feel real. It didn't feel
Mhm.
real. I started thinking, are they lying? Like, like I was like, what's happening? Like my brain was like trying to compute that, because I mean, I like, that is just like an incredible compliment that, like, you could never, it's unfathomable. Like, you could never kind of think that. So it's like, I mean, that was just so validating. I mean, all the compliments from the judges were just so validating that I am on the right path and this is what I'm supposed to do with my life. And going to college, me choosing not to go to college and to spend some time pursuing music was the right thing to do.
Yeah, I love that. Like on your little bio at the bottom, it says that you're a pizza delivery guy. Because I'm like, I've always thought of you so much as a musician, like as your first job. So it's just funny that they kind of like categorize you as that. But you know, it's funny. And speaking of the judges, you obviously like, and I've seen this before, like, you know, contestants on the show really do kind of build this kind of bond with them. Is there a piece of advice that you got from Lionel, from Luke, from Katie throughout being on the show, whether that was on camera or off camera, that really stuck with you?
Yeah, I think what stuck with me most out of a comment from the judges would definitely have to be Katie, when she said to me in Hawaii to just get back to singing from my heart and just always sing from my heart, because excuse me, I think that's just what, I mean, that's why I love to sit down at the piano singing from, like, when it just all comes out and it's such a emotional release. When I'm singing, I mean, that's like, that's when I feel the best. That's when I'm connected to it as much as I possibly can be. So I think that's just something that I'm always going to do from now on.
Yeah, I remember that episode too, or that like song choice, and it is so interesting how you can kind of like see when, like, what that difference is when it really is coming from your heart and when, you know, you're not fully there. So I think that's super important. I'm excited to see it play out. Jumping forward a little bit from that audition, this season obviously made history as kind of the first of its kind, because you guys were forced to perform and compete from home once COVID-19 really kind of came into play. Kind of crazy. I don't think anyone knew what to expect, what was going to go down here. Was that something that became an extra challenge? Like, was it harder doing it from home, or was it actually like easier, you know, from the comfort of your home, not actually having to take that huge stage week after week? Like, what were the pros and cons there? What do you think that like would actually surprise us about you having to perform from home week after week?
I think, you know, what's so crazy about it is that we were all out in LA.
Mm-hmm.
We had, we had four of us in an apartment each, essentially. And we had been like put up in apartments, and we'd been living together for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, going to CBS studios to rehearse for the live shows every day and working with the vocal coaches. And then all of a sudden the pandemic started worsening, just state by state started closing until one day, and we didn't, and a lot of the production team still said, you know, like, we know, like, we're gonna keep going on, like, we're gonna like do our best to stay on, and subsequently that's what they did. But then they just said, we have to send you all home. We don't know what's gonna happen now. We have no clue, but we'll let you know as soon as we figure it out. So then we were at home for about a week or two, which felt like the longest week or two of my life, really, because it's like, what is happening? This has been like the last 6 months.
Yeah.
So then they basically we got the call. They said, you know what? We're going to do it from home. We're sending you all 3 iPhones to film the show, and just boxes and boxes of equipment, music equipment, microphones, like set design equipment came. Just boxes started coming every day. We essentially had to build our own sets, going back and forth with the producers. Going back and forth with the producers, and then like the director, Phil Hayes, who's a fellow Brit, which was cool. And we're like talking to each other on Zoom, setting up the camera angles, which was, that was extremely challenging, because building these sets took days, and then we were on the lighting director and like figuring out how to light and backlight everything. So it was definitely something that was such a pro from it, was just the knowledge that I was able to kind of take in, how much like of a learning experience that was, of essentially each contestant was producing their own segment of the show from home themselves.
No, it's super cool. It's insane. You're like,
about television production, which was interesting. And then I think the big challenge was to just be able to connect, because you are singing into an iPhone, and I think that's what I just tried to do every time. I tried to stick with songs that I found more emotional, that I could really connect to, and just look into the camera and just try to kind of give that energy out to everyone else at home watching.
Yeah, for sure. I think that is something, it's so difficult to connect to people over a phone, and, so much easier when you have that energy of a crowd right there, and it's tangible, it's palpable. But I think you did an amazing job. And it was so much fun to watch, like I said. And one of my favorite things about, this season in general, is that even once you guys all were sent home and you weren't all together, hanging out and living in the same apartment together, you all still rooted each other on week after week. It was the coolest thing, like, to watch your Instagram stories, and it's like, time to vote. And like, not only are you like, hey guys, vote for me, Louis Knight, you're like, oh my God, this guy killed it, she killed it, everyone's killing it. Like, it was the sweetest thing. I absolutely love to see that. Obviously, besides yourself, was there one other contestant that you were totally rooting to take the ultimate win? Like, at the end of the day, who did you really want to win that season?
Honestly, it's so hard, because we all became like, really, truly, we became family, and not just the contestants, but with also the production team, because everyone that runs the show, they're just amazing, kind of people that want the best for you no matter what. And I think, my closest, my best friend from the show, who's we're, all of us are still really good friends. We're planning at the end of the summer, if the pandemic allows it. But see, who do I want to win? I don't know. In my heart, I really did want Sam to win.
Yes.
Because she's such a sweetheart, and she's like a kind soul, and she's just so funny. Like, we would share so many laughs. But other than Sam, I think Francisco, we had such a bromance from the get-go.
Really? You don't say.
Like one of my like best bros. Like, he still is a really like close bro of mine. And yeah, like, the show kind of set up this kind of like, they tried to, like, the judges tried to kind of pin us against each other at the beginning, and like we were kind of rivals, and then we were just like, no, and then we ended up being duet partners. And so I think, if it was other than Sam, I think definitely Francisco.
All right, well, Sam obviously won, absolutely, so well deserved.
Exactly.
Love her to to death. But yeah, no, I think the bromance vibes were definitely fun to see play
Yeah.
out as well. Looking back, I mean, this must have been just an insane roller coaster ride of an experience. I know that there were super highs, there were super lows,
Yeah.
so many unexpected curves left and right, especially getting sent, you know, home from Hollywood to actually carry on the season from there. But looking back, what's the biggest lesson that you're taking away from American Idol and from your experiences on American Idol? Like, is there something that you think years and years from now you'll always hold on to as like, well, thank goodness that I learned that during my time on that show?
Absolutely. And it's going to get a little deeper for a second, like, because
Okay.
what, what I've done, and I say this a lot, but the biggest takeaway from Idol for me, I mean, there are so many things. I mean, it's like a boot camp of experience and you just learn so much. But the biggest thing for me was just learning perseverance, because Hollywood Week was just crazy is an understatement. And you see the most talented people you've ever seen. I kind of forgot that I could even sing. I was like, what is happening? Like, and then you end up like I ended up sleeping maybe about 3.5 to 4 hours total over the course of like 3 days. And like my mental state completely deteriorated. I mean, I think most people's do at that point. And I and then like I messed up my lyrics on stage the second day in my duet with Francisco. And then I saw all these people that did absolutely incredible performances get sent home. So I was like this weird feeling like, do I deserve this? Like I've like felt like weird. It's just very strange, especially when you're sleep deprived. You're kind of
Yeah.
mentally just kind of wavering. And then my roommate, the my roommate got sent home. So then I kind of had like a panic attack, which I've never really experienced like deep anxiety before. And I don't at the moment. I haven't since, which is a great thing, and I'm really lucky. But I kind of woke up in this weird sleep deprived panic attack the last day, and I started packing my suitcase, and I was saying I can't handle this. I'm gonna leave the show. Like I just can't do this. And then like my manager came and kind of everyone like and then some of like my friends on the production team who I said, I mean, we all became such a family. They kind of just helped calm me down. And then they got me they just said, all right, Louis, put a show on. Like they kind of got me like to calm down step by step and was like, let's just go to the venue. You don't have to perform. Because I was just so sleep deprived. And then I ended up going out on stage performing, which I told myself 100 times I wasn't going to do. And then I was leaving. And I gave what I think is probably one of my most raw performances. And that taught me just a lot about perseverance, because I wouldn't be here. We may not be talking if I had chosen to leave the show. And yeah.
What song is that was the most, is that the Louis Capaldi one that?
Hold Me While You Wait, yeah.
No, I think that performance was so memorable too. It's so interesting to hear kind of the backstory behind it, because you know, that like genuinely I was brought to tears by that performance. I know your mom, like the crowd was also crying during that, obviously for personal reasons as well. But I think that it's so clear when you can tell that an artist feels something so deeply, and that was such an example of it. I would never be able to tell that right before that you almost essentially kind of gave up and walked away from it because of the enormous stress that was being put on you. I'm so happy you decided to stay. And so happy that I got to see that performance, because otherwise, I mean, man, we would have definitely missed out. That one is such a good one. If anyone watching hasn't seen it yet, go hit up YouTube right now. Bring some tissues with you. It's a really beautiful moment.
Thank you, Ali.
You're so welcome. I love that one. And like, in addition, I'm just so happy that overall you were able to kind of find that drive and perseverance within you to keep going, because as viewers, like, we have no idea what goes on behind the scenes. And I mean, we're like, oh, this isn't easy, but there's no telling like how difficult it actually is. And I think that you being on American Idol has really kind of given you this platform to introduce yourself to so many people. I mean, this time last year you had 1,000 followers on Instagram, right? Like when we met.
Yeah.
And now you have hundreds of thousands of people, and like I said earlier, you've really been able to kind of cultivate this community, this safe space for people that might be struggling, that might be feeling alone. And I'm sure that you've had countless interactions and conversations with, whether they be followers or people in real life, about, you know, the impact that, you know, your words and your music has really had on them, especially when it comes to change and your personal experience with suicide. Is there kind of a moment that stands out where somebody did reach out and say something to you that really kind of holds a special place in your heart, where you kind of recognize that impact that you've been able to have on others?
I think honestly there's a few, because I think honestly I was so surprised by the amount of people that reached out to me after my audition. I don't know why. I was so surprised because so many people reached out and said how much change resonated with them, and that they had just lost a loved one to suicide, or they were struggling themselves, and that they were finding a little bit of peace in my song. And like, I mean, that was honestly like, that was just so fulfilling and heartwarming, because if I could just, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, the reason why I auditioned with that song, like the main reason, like if I could just help one person, just if I could help, like if like help save one life, just like that would like be the most incredible thing ever. And just hearing that from so many people was just incredible.
Yeah.
And I mean, I still talk to those people, and I mean, I think also just having a few weeks ago I did some virtual coffees with a few of my followers, and I it was so different, because I mean, chatting on Instagram and like DMing and stuff, but then it's like lovely, and then I was on like a Zoom with this
Yeah.
with it, and like we talked for like 34, I think it was 45 minutes, just talking, getting to know each other, and just hearing about her life and her story and where she's from, and how change was able to impact her. And like, that was just the most gratifying experience you could ever ask for.
Yeah, I think that's so beautiful. And I've definitely seen like a ripple that change has started. So I'm sure there are so many people that have been impacted in such a positive way. And, you know, so thank you for.
Thank you.
I want to shift gears a tiny bit because I want to talk about Twisted Conversations. I have so much to say. Guys, if you did not know, Louis just dropped his brand new single on Monday. So it's been a couple days. If you haven't heard it by now, I don't know what you've been up to. Go stream it. I've been listening to it on repeat, but can you talk a little bit about the inspiration behind Twisted Conversations and how it kind of signifies your next steps moving forward as an artist?
Absolutely. I definitely think Twisted Conversations is the most pop song that I've done.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's grammatically correct, but like
no, I think so. It works.
So. But and I think, I mean, what inspired that story was, it's actually quite a funny story. So two New Year's Eves ago, I was at one of my really good friends' houses, kind of like we were all celebrating New Year's Eve, and I ended up hitting it off a bit with his older sister, which
okay,
did not go down very well with him.
I wouldn't think it would, but yeah, go ahead.
Exactly. So then the next day I wrote, the next day on New Year's Day, I was so inspired by writing about kind of having a connection with someone, but knowing that you can't act on any of those feelings. That was kind of the inspiration behind Twisted Conversations. And then I kind of played with the narrative a bit more, and then it came into the boyfriend line.
Which is a great line.
I appreciate it.
You know, I definitely think that this song stands out as being kind of more pop driven than kind of your past work, which is really fun. I actually at one point in this one was kind of getting like an early Shawn Mendes vibe, which I'm the biggest Shawn Mendes fan, so I was vibing with it.
Thank you. That's a massive.
Are you?
I'm a massive Shawn Mendes fan. Yeah, I love him.
Ooh, okay. I love that. Love
Yeah.
that about you. Okay. But one thing that is so random, but I love about your music, there are so many things, but this random thing is that you can hear your accent come through, which is so rare. I feel like I grew up listening to One Direction and I was always so mad, like, why can't you tell they're British? Like can you answer this like age-old question? Like, why do some British people sing with American accents? Can we get what's like your professional opinion here? I've got to know.
Professional.
Yeah, in your
um, Honestly, it's such a good question because it's been bothering me. I mean, my entire life.
Thank
Like,
you.
when I moved, I mean, I love One Direction too. I mean, they're fantastic. Like, and when I moved to America, I mean, my entire life up to moving to America till about maybe 4 years ago, when I was a freshman in high school, I would sing with an American accent because I just thought that was what you were supposed to do.
Right?
As I really, as I fell in love with Ed Sheeran's music, he was one of the main, I mean, in terms of English pop singer-songwriters, I mean, he was the only one really in the music industry and in the pop world that was from England who was really singing with their accent heavily. And that brought such a unique feel and just honest, like a real feel to it. And I think I was like, what am I doing? Like I'm sounding like someone that I'm not, like just be me, just be English, like just and see what happens. But I don't know why everyone does that. I think maybe it's because everyone does that everyone
Yeah.
does that.
Man, okay. I'm glad that you had that epiphany though, and that you decided to really like showcase your voice as it is. I've got to say, I'm reading these comments now, Louis, and every single person wants to hear a Shawn Mendes collab. So
That would be a dream.
okay, cool. So whoever's leaving those comments, I feel like it's a ton of people because I'm seeing those, but just stay tuned because Louis is working on it.
Knock on wood, who knows? Maybe in a year that would be a dream.
So I have to ask, I don't want to get too greedy because we just got Twisted Conversations literally 2 days ago, but you said you're in the studio now. I can obviously tell, like I said, there's piano behind you. It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
What are you working on a larger project? Are you pushing out some singles sometime in the future? Can we expect an album out of you anytime soon? Like I said, don't want to get greedy, but I had to ask.
No, absolutely. I mean, this is my first day back in the studio since the pandemic, and I am planning at the moment. I mean, an album is the end goal, completely, and I'm hoping to sign a record deal soon, which would help me make that album. At the moment, I'm gonna be releasing a new single about every 6-ish weeks. Every 6 weeks, I'll release a new single. So this next single that I'm literally just recording piano on right now, I was recording the piano for it. Is called Maybe That, which I released an unplugged acoustic video on my YouTube and IGTV for I think maybe a month ago now, but now I'm properly recording the studio version to get that out soon.
Yay. Okay, so we can all kind of sit tight knowing that Maybe That is coming soon, hopefully super soon. But like I said, we have Twisted Conversations to listen to in the meantime. I know that COVID has kind of thrown a lot of plans that maybe you had or that anyone else has had, up in the air because there are a lot of unknowns right now. But do you have any other big goals that you are hoping to achieve in the next year or two when it comes to music or even when it comes to just life?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if the pandemic if the pandemic allows it and everything kind of everyone can be healthy and venues can open up. Sorry, someone called me. Sorry.
It's okay. It happened to me a second ago. I feel for you.
My dream right now is to just get on the road and start playing as many shows as I can at whatever size venue will have me and just start meeting like my supporters and kind of chatting with people and just playing, because playing out live for people, I mean that's what like really connects us. I mean those are the moments that I live for. So that's definitely my biggest goal aside from releasing an album.
Ooh, okay. I'm pumped. I mean, I had a feeling you were going to say that, but I would love to go to a full-fledged tour. Stop. Please come to New York. I'm pumped for that. Really excited for new music, too. I mean, like I said, Basic Conversations has been playing nonstop over here. But, I mean, I'm excited for new stuff, too. I'm going to go ahead. I want to get some fan questions before I let you go. So let me pull this up and see what the people want to know. I'm really excited. Guys, if you haven't already dropped a question for Louis, go ahead and do it now. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, they're already so good. I'm going to start with we've been talking about music this whole time. I'm going to start with the non-music related one just because the people want to know. Ooh. Mumita wants to know what your favorite Netflix show is.
Wow, that's a really good question.
It's a hard one, I know. I'm hitting you with the hard-hitting questions here.
My mind is so blanking. What Netflix show have I watched recently? Oh, that's so hard.
Or do you have like an all-time favorite show? Like, what's your...
My all-time favorite show is not a Netflix show.
That's cool. Hit me with it.
I feel like lately I've been starting like everything with Idol. I kept trying to start different like series, but I could never like fully finish them because everything was just so hectic. But my favorite show has got to be Game of Thrones, to be honest.
It is so good. Do you have a favorite character?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, who doesn't love Sam? Is he the Sam? No, without a doubt.
He's so cute.
I know, he's like a sweet little dude. Like,
I love that. Okay, this one is a really good question. I never would have thought to ask, but you mentioned wanting to go out on tour to meet all of your fans. You have such an amazing following on Instagram all over. They're streaming your stuff nonstop. Leela Savage 102 wants to know, do you have a name for your fan base?
I don't, and I know Leela. She's amazing.
Oh,
I haven't. People have like suggested things in my Instagram lives, but I haven't really figured it out. It feels weird to like. It's even weird saying fans. Like it's like it feels so strange. Like it's such a surreal thing. I'm so lucky I have such amazing support. But I kind of want to. Maybe I'll leave that up to you all to decide.
All right. Okay, so that's a challenge, guys. If you're watching this, let's make something happen. Figure out a name because it is such a great community. We want to make sure we have a name to call ourselves, right? Thank you. Add me to the group chat, whatever it ends up being. I'll be there. Okay, I usually hate asking artists this question because I think it's the equivalent of asking my parents who their favorite child is. No matter how badly I want it to be me, they always say they love us all equally. But Alexis5399 wants to know, do you have a favorite song that you've ever written? And P.S., you're so amazing.
Thank you. I think, hey Alexis, by the way, hope you're having a great day. I think favorite song I've written, it's always going to have to be, who knows yet? I haven't written a song that, Change has got to be my favorite song that I've written so far because it helped me grow and come to peace with my loss. And it also, it's just the biggest moment of self-reflection. And I think definitely without a doubt, my favorite song.
Okay. I couldn't agree more. I think it's so important. I know a second ago we were talking about how you need to collaborate with Shawn Mendes, but Daniela_Balducci wants to know who your absolute dream collaboration is. It could be any artist, dead or alive. It's popping up right now. There we go.
Wow.
I know, this is a loaded one.
Well, if dead, I think either Amy Winehouse or Freddie Mercury.
Mm-hmm.
Alive, either John Bellion,
so good,
Lewis Capaldi, or Ed Sheeran.
Okay,
I'm a massive Capaldi fan, huge. Like he's just the music he writes is just, I connect to it so well, and it's kind of very similar to the music that I write and that I aspire to write. And he's also just the funniest guy on. If you ever Instagram. He's like such a nutty guy, and it's just
He's so funny. Okay, I want to close it out with the most important question of all. We've talked about a lot of serious topics, a lot of fun stuff, a lot of things that we could look forward to with new music. But I know that we have a really important day coming up soon. How are you celebrating your birthday, which is in like 2 days now, right? Louis Knight fan wants to know. Great username, guys. You can't steal that one. It's one of a kind. They already got it.
And she really is amazing. It's hey Maya, it's Maya. I like, but how am I celebrating my birthday? I think it's so hard with the pandemic at the moment and socially distancing. I might have like I think I'm gonna go out to lunch with my managers and my family, because we've all kind of been quarantined together, and then I try to hopefully see a few friends in the evening. But it's so weird with socially distancing at the moment, so I'm gonna have to figure that out.
So you're turning 20?
Yeah, I'm turning 20.
That's a good one. That's like a big, you're not gonna be a teenager anymore. You can't say that. You're in your 20s. That's a big one. Well, I hope you have an amazing birthday. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for the past couple of minutes. It was so fun to catch up. Like I said, it's been so long. You've accomplished so much over the past year, and we have so much to look forward to in the future. I'm so excited to see everything that you're going to be doing coming up. Thanks again for chatting, Louis. It was so fun to catch up.
No, it was so good to catch up. Thank you so much for having me. It was, yeah, I mean, it was just great to chat with you, and thank you everyone for joining. Appreciate you all.
Okay, have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Bye.